hang up with them. 10 minutes later, I get a call, and it's the doctor calling me, and she's like, yeah, so we have some labs come back with abnormal results. And I'm thinking, oh my God, I have bone cancer. That's my immediate thought. And then, like, as soon as the thought finishes, she said, yeah, you tested positive for HIV. Huh?
She went in for a routine checkup, walked out thinking she had herpes, and ended up being told she has HIV. Fellas, this story right here is why a lot of men are stepping all the way back from these streets, because what starts off as just a planned twister can flip your whole life overnight. Let's break this down.
So on December 20th of 2023, I went into the gynecologist for a routine appointment. She did a pap smear, and I was like, well, since I'm here, can you also do blood work and run a full STD panel, including HIV, because some places, I don't know, when you ask for STD testing, they don't test for HIV. And I also said including HSV1. HSV1 is herpes simplex virus 1. It is the oral herpes. And some places won't test for it because a lot of the population actually has oral herpes, a cold sore. So a lot of people test positive for it, but then they don't want people to freak out because a lot of people may not ever have a breakout. I don't know. That's what one physician told me. And I was like, I don't know what everybody else do. I would like to know all of it. Anyway, so I asked her for those labs, and she asked me, am I asking because I have any concerns, or am I asking because, I want to do preventative testing? And I let her know preventative testing if I am playing adult twister.
At first, she's cool, real confident. She says she's just getting tested just to be safe. Respect that. But then she casually mentions she's been playing adult twister and getting tested every 6 months. But watch this. Here's where it starts to shift.
Then I get tested every 6 months. If I'm not playing adult twister, then I get tested once a year. The last time I had been tested was March of 2023. It was now December 2023, so I was like, just include it in there. When I left the OBGYN office, I normally go to Quest Diagnostic, which is to the right. I went there, and it was probably like 5:30, and they didn't have any more appointments left because I think they closed at 6 or something like that. So I was like, damn, but there's another urgent care right on the left, and they have a lab in there. So I went to that urgent care to get my blood drawn. This is very important. That was on the 20th. On the 23rd, I got a notification that said my results were ready in the portal. I logged onto the portal. I didn't even go to the STD testing because I look at my blood work first. A doctor once told me that I am mildly anemic. So they asked me to take iron. Anyway, so I checked my blood work first, and then I was checking the STDs one by one. Not detected, not detected, negative, not detected. And then I get to, it said like HSV 1 and 2 antibodies or something like that, or antigens. And then it said like a high level of it. I immediately got on the phone with that doctor's office.
Boom. She sees a positive results. And just like that, all the calm energy gone. Fellas, you can literally watch the anxiety hit her in real time. She ain't thinking about brunch. She ain't thinking about the gym. She's thinking about every sneaky link she ever had. Now she's calling doctors like, can y'all run that back?
She looked it up, and she was like, okay, you know what? I'm gonna see if the physician call you back. Yeah. You see what I see. She called me back, and she was like, oh, I'm looking at your lab results. She's trying to go over everything else. I'm like, girl, I don't care about none of that. And she was like, oh, I'm looking on here, and it says, HSV 1 and 2 positive. She was like, I remember you asked for the test specifically. Like, is there something that you're worried about? There was nothing I was worried about. Actually, I was completely fine until I just logged on here and saw that it was positive. So now I'm freaking out. I am really freaking out. Like, I can feel myself, I can feel the anxiety just building. This is the first time I've tested positive for anything, mind you. She was like, yeah, you've never tested positive for anything. Like, I'm gonna just have them run it one more time because we don't know if it's HSV1 or HSV2. HSV1 is oral herpes. HSV2 is genital herpes. She was like, so we're gonna have them rerun the test. This was on the 23rd of December. This was right before Christmas. The whole time during Christmas, I'm like stressed out. And thank the Lord I was on Christmas break from school because that would have been too much for me to handle. I done cried. I'm like, oh my God, what? Thankfully that I was in school at the time. So I had learned about this. So I'm like, okay, you know exactly what herpes is, how it works, what you have to do, just calm down, you'll be okay. So then I'm like, wait a minute. got the results back on December 28th. I got the portal notification first. So I logged online. I seen that it said HSV1 not detected, HSV2 not detected. As soon as I was getting off of the portal, my phone was ringing and it was the physician telling me like, hey, good news, you actually don't have herpes. And I'm like, okay, well, why did I test positive? She's like, I don't know. So apparently that urgent care runs a different test than Quest Diagnostic does. And for whatever reason, there's some antigen in my blood that will always test positive on that specific test.
Now here's where it gets wild. Turns out it was a false positive. And listen, I know that's relief, but when you out here moving reckless, even a scare like that will humble you real quick. This ain't about STDs. This is about how fast your life can flip from one test result.
Now let's fast forward to March 3rd of 2025. Now I'm going to the primary care physician. When I get a physical, I also tell her about my hip on the right side. Anybody that knows me knows I've been having hip pain for the past 2 years and I cannot figure out why. She's like, okay, we're going to get you some x-rays done. We're going to run labs to make sure it's not cancer. We're going to check for inflammation. We're going to check your blood count. They want to make sure it's not arthritis, osteoporosis, like all kinds of stuff, right? So I'm like, okay, cool. And I'm like, well, since you run in my blood, can you check me for STDs as well? Can you make sure that you include HSV1, HSV2, and HIV? She was like, well, I don't know. They usually don't run HIV. Like, I'm like, no, I want it all. Why would you not do it? I want it all. She's like, okay, do you have any concerns? I said, no, it's just preventative testing. Fun fact, a lot of places or a lot of like clinics, if you tell them it's preventative testing, they will test you for free. If you tell them that oh, I think something's wrong or I've been having this issue, then they will charge you or charge your insurance. But usually, or not usually, a lot of the times, if it's preventative, then they will cover it for free. So ask them. So I'm telling her like, oh yeah, I'm not worried about that for real, girl. Like, since the last test I test negative, I've only been with one person 2 times. Like, I would know the 2 exact dates. I'm more so concerned about what's going on with my hip. She's like, oh, okay, cool. Turns out every time I say that, I'm wrong. So I went, got my blood drawn, cool. That was on March 3rd, 2025. So on March 7th, I got an email saying that my lab results have been uploaded into the patient portal. Remind you, this is a new primary care, so I haven't registered for the patient portal yet. So I get on the phone with the doctor's office and I ask them if I can speak with her so that I can get my lab results. And they're like, well, you need an appointment. Our next appointment isn't until Monday. If it's anything critical, if anything crucial, anything that stands out, she will be checking them later today and she will call you. I said, okay. So on March 10th, I have a 9:45 appointment with a psychiatrist. They want to see if I have ADHD. Turns out they diagnosed me with anxiety and depression, right? Very important to this story. Because I hang up with them, 10 minutes later I get a call and it's the doctor calling me and she's like, yeah, so we have some labs come back with abnormal results. And I'm thinking, oh my God, I have bone cancer. That's my immediate thought. And then like as soon as the thought finishes, she said, yeah, you tested positive for HIV. Huh?
Now, just when she thinks it's all over, boom, she gets hit with the real bomb, HIV. And this ain't a joke. This ain't a clickbait. This is her saying in her own words, and somehow she's calm again. Yo, that alone tells you what kind of lifestyle she's been used to.
You tested positive for HIV. I said, are you sure? Like, can you read me back my name, first and last name and date of birth? Because are you checking the right chart? I have never created a patient portal login type shit so fast. Like, while we're on the phone with them, I'm on my phone logging into the patient portal. It's on like page 3. I get to HIV, baby. It says repeatedly reactive. My phone logging into the patient portal. It's on like page 3. I get to HIV, baby. It says repeatedly reactive.
Woo! There it goes right there. And they got it in red.
And for some reason, emotionally, I did not have the same reaction or as strong as a reaction as I did for the herpes. I was more so just like, what?
You scared of herpes, but cool with HIV? That tells you everything you need to know about the mentality out here. That's why men are saying, if you're not married, you're at risk.
I'm like, that's it. That was the least of my concerns, like the very least of my concerns. So she's like, yeah, we got to get you to a specialist immediately. Like, we have an appointment tomorrow at 11 a.m. or 1 p.m. Which one do you want? And I'm like, I have work tomorrow. And she's like, listen, the next appointment is not for 2 months, so you need to make this appointment. I get off the phone and I'm just like, all right, well, I got HIV. Like, for some reason, the herpes scared the heck out of me, but with the HIV, I was just kind of like, all right. As long as you're taking your medicine and doing what you're supposed to do, following whatever your treatment plan is, you can have a long, healthy life with HIV. You can have children and literally have a normal life. The worst part about it to me is, one, you can't breastfeed because you can transfer the HIV to your baby. Two, I'm like, I have to tell everybody that I date now. Like, I damn near got to say, hi, my name is Kira and I have HIV. And then...
Let me ask y'all something. When you hear this story, do you think that's just bad luck, or that's a warning sign of what happens when the streets raise you instead of the standards? Comment below, because this is deeper than just lab results. This is about lifestyle decisions.
I went to my friend's birthday party that day because that was her literal birthday. Or I didn't go to her birthday party, but she had like a little dinner in her house. People are probably shocked to hear this video right now because I haven't really told anybody. So it's the next day. I get to the appointment again, still calm, cool, collected. I'm talking to the lady who draws blood, and I'm like, yeah, so like, you know, how long does it take? Like, what are we checking for exactly? And she was like, I'm gonna partner you with a nurse to answer all those questions. So the nurse called me in the back and she was like, okay, so the test you took the first time was detecting whether or not you have HIV. It comes back positive. They tested more than one time. That's why it says repeatedly reactive. So there's HIV 1 and HIV 2. HIV 1 is contracted here in the US. HIV 2 is contracted overseas. It looks like you have HIV 1, so now we're going to check your blood to see how much of the HIV is in your system. So they're checking for the viral load. A viral load less than 30 is negative. A viral load more than 30 is positive. That'll determine what your treatment is, and you'll go forward with a doctor from there. Usually 5 days to a week and a half to get the results back. We'll give you a follow-up appointment in 2 weeks, but your results will be back way before then.
Salute to her sharing her story, but real talk, most women wouldn't, most men would have never ever been told, and that's the real scary part. Like, comment, subscribe, because we not sugarcoating anything over here. See you on the next video.